Just gone back under the green flag here at Richmond. Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton. They are the top 5.
And a battle for the lead as Junior looks on the inside of Ricky Rudd. Could not. Why have we got a spin?
Mike Wallace right up through traffic. More scattering. Hornaday is spun. The rest of the field is stopped in the cloud of smoke. And when the smoke clears, how many will have been involved? Looks like just those 2.
Oh, that was lucky. All right, the 7th car, Mark Martin is right behind him. Come off the corner. And right there, some contact between Mark in the 6 and Mike Wallace in the 7. The 7th, Mike Wallace just nails the gas trying to get the car to do a 360. It did one, but the nose hit the wall.
See the 20 just barely get through? Watch Tony Stewart in this.
Look at that. I mean, that's exactly what the drivers are seeing.
Yeah, you're right. You cannot see a thing, and your spotter is trying to tell you which way to go, but he can't see any better than what you can see.
Keep an eye on that orange 20. Well, you won't see him in the cloud of smoke either. Mike Wallace, he's coming right up on the wall. See him there? And Wallace goes right down and clears in front of him.
And a deal like that, you're as worried about getting hit than you are hitting somebody.
On board with Mark Martin, you saw that great run he had and got in the back of Mike Wallace. Watch Hornaday, he gets hit.
Yep. Damage to the back, definitely. Somebody got into the back of him.
Let's get a pit report on Dale Jarrett from Dave Burns.
Yeah, Alan, he's been battling a loose condition, and they made another track bar adjustment and changed 4 tires under this caution. Remember, they were off sequence just a little bit with the rest of the guys from before, but DJ's still not happy with the car.
Well, running back in 28th spot, I'd say not.
That's right. I think right now anybody from 6th place on back is not happy with their car. Well, maybe because Jeff Burton is 6th. Matt Yoakum?
Well, Benny, after that lap 35 incident with Jeff Gordon, which sent the 24 car back here to the garage, the Rainbow Warriors have worked on this point-leading machine. He's getting ready to back his car out. Tony Gibson, the car chief, and Robbie Loomis and the guys have put on a new deck lid. They pulled away and cut away a lot of the damaged sheet metal. They braced up the fuel filler neck so that it won't bounce around, and they can put fuel in the car to try to log laps, but Gordon just fired the car. He's putting his helmet and gloves on now. They're about 3 to 5 minutes away as Steve Peterson and Robbie Loomis are looking over that fuel filler neck. Loomis has braced that, but Peterson obviously is finding something wrong with that. They're discussing it right now, but Gordon is close to going back out.
And Peterson's trying to do, he's just trying to make sure, BP, that this car is safe enough to return on the racetrack. If that car takes another hit, it's awfully vulnerable to have a fire or something wrong like that. So.
And obviously Peterson has figured out that it's not safe enough because we heard Jeff Gordon turn the engine off.
Back under green. And just to finish up on the Gordon thing, another issue that complicates items for a team trying to repair their car is this policy NASCAR took on, about a year ago, that you get one chance to bring a damaged car back out of the garage and get it up to speed on the racetrack. If it's not up to speed when it comes back out the first time, you're done for the night. You don't get another chance. So before you bring that car out, you better make sure everything's strapped down tight and it's going to go.
And I think that's a good policy, because guys are going to take a little bit more time getting it fixed than they would have just hurry up and tape it up, bell and wire it up, and send it out there, and then be in the way, or maybe even perhaps dangerous.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. tried to chase Ricky Rudd and fend off Rusty Wallace at the same time. Let's get a note from his pit from Marty.
Yeah, so far no worries for Dale Earnhardt Jr. This is a brand new car called Step Daddy. Not Step Daddy, but Step Daddy. That's what they like to say. And it's painted red inside. Normally, that would be gray, and that's in honor of Dale Jr.'s favorite Busch Series car called Stepchild and Stepmom. Those cars got 11 wins for Dale Earnhardt Jr., including 3 in a row here for DEI in the NASCAR Busch Series. Now, they're hoping that the red inside the car fires them up and reminds them of days of old. So far, the car outstanding for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Junior right now settled into second spot, holding off Rusty Wallace, but losing a little bit of ground to Ricky Rudd as we look down on the Richmond International Raceway, courtesy of the United States Army Skycam. Be an Army of one. There are 212 ways to be a soldier. Find out more at GoArmy.com. Whoa, Rusty really had a run at Junior there in the middle of the corner.
I'm really impressed with Junior. Watching the rotors on the 8 car, he really doesn't seem to be using a lot of brakes to be able to run in the second spot.
And really, if your car's working good here at Richmond, you shouldn't have to use a lot of brake. If the car gets in good and has a lot of grip and it'll roll through the center, you really use less brake. The guys that are using a lot of brake right now, their car's not handling very well because they're trying to use the brake to set the car.
Ricky Rudd, Dale Jr., Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Ward Burton. There are your top 5 here in Richmond.
Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes on TNT is brought to you by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there. And by Budweiser with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
133 laps in to the Chevy Monte Carlo 400 with the Looney Tunes. Ricky Rudd is the 5th different driver to be out in front of this one. Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Brett Bodine for a lap during pit stops. And then Rudd have been the drivers who have paced it. Big stories in this one so far. Gordon getting tapped by Marlin at lap number 29. Excuse me, at lap 35 while racing for 3rd position. Gordon behind the wall getting repairs made to his car. And then Marlin on a pit stop at lap 94 from the lead, breaking the transmission on his car. And he's behind the wall. That's 1st and 3rd in the championship who are in the garage right now. Bill Weber.
Well, Alan, during the most recent caution period, all the teams were warned on the NASCAR frequency. It's 9:15. The penalty box is open. This is your only warning. We had NASCAR Director of Operations Kevin Triplett on the pre-race show talking about the on-track incidents last night and the last couple of weeks in the Busch Series. But you have to be certain of one thing. NASCAR is watching the Winston Cup guys even more closely. They're more experienced, better drivers, better performance, and more patience is expected from them.
The penalty box door is open.
What happens if someone makes contact with another car in front of them and NASCAR deems it to be irresponsible? They will bring that driver in that made the contact, and he will sit for a couple laps.
And the bottom line is that will be a judgment call on the NASCAR race control officials' part. They make the call from here in the tower. Was that rough driving, or was it incidental contact? Was it pass interference? Was it not? Same concept.
Every sport has got to have a referee. Now let's check Rusty Wallace and see what kind of RPMs he's turning. The front straightaway is really where they use these engines up. Watch this, 70, 85, 6, 9,100 RPMs. It's probably 300 or 400 more RPMs than the backstretch. We saw 91. Let's see what we see in the back. 8,700 RPM. Exactly 400. I did good. What kind of mile per hour down this front straightaway? The fastest part? 146 miles per hour before he slams on the brakes and turns left.
Told you all about Rusty's superlatives here at Richmond and how much he's dominated at this track. We talked with him about that earlier in this weekend, and he said one word here for him: confidence.
When I go to Richmond, I feel like, hey, this is the track I'm going to win. And when I go to the rest of the racetracks, I'd go there to win, but I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of hot rods, you know, they got a chance to win this track. But when I go to Richmond, I'm thinking, you know, I've won here 6 or 7 times, and I'm probably one of the favorites to win here. And I go there with a lot better mental attitude when I go to Richmond.
Hey, Rusty's car's tight. Real tight right now. Looks tight. Tight as a hair shirt.
Our shirt's tight. What was that line?
Tighter than a hair shirt.
But Sterling Marlin has repaired the transmission on his car.
That's a hair shirt.
I'll let you think about that one.
I thought about it. I don't like the mental image.
Not getting up to speed very quick, is it?
No,
And here comes Jeff Gordon. Been in the garage since lap 35. We're at 143 now.
saw a new deck lid on the DuPont Chevrolet. I would hope so, because the other one is badly mangled.
107 laps down for Gordon, 48 laps down for Marlin. Minimum lap time that they have to run here tonight is a 25.31 second lap.
Battle for the 5th position, and Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, takes it away.
Brett Bodine's car has just been reported out of the race due to overheating. Mike Wallace's car is in the garage as well. Kevin LePage and Elliott Sadler also both off the track.
Tony Stewart started back in 33rd position. He's closing in on 6th spot. Walking through the garage here this afternoon, talking to the mechanics. Who's the favorite to win? They all told me Tony Stewart is so fast, it's unbelievable.
But it's about to be lap 150, and he's not leading. Matt?
Alan, after his first pit stop on lap 29, he's been climbing about 10 spots every 25 to 30 laps. But like you mentioned, his prediction of lap 150 of being in the lead is probably not going to happen. He's had trouble, his car a little bit loose. About 10 laps ago, he wanted some confirmation from his crew chief, Greg Ziminelli, who became a new father on Wednesday, about which way to turn the brake bias, because he wasn't exactly sure, so he's not going to make the lead by lap 150.
All right, let's see if Tony Stewart is running, if gaining on Ricky Rudd or losing ground. He's 5.16, 5.17. Now he's lost some ground as he went up to pass the 21 car. The lap car, you can see that he cost Tony Stewart about 1/10 of a second. .27, right along with him. We'll see, just increased the distance by about 2/10. Tony's back where he started.
Nice little wiggle there coming across the start-finish line.
So it looks like that Tony Stewart right now is about 0.05 of a second per lap slower than Ricky Rudd.
And Tony, you don't want to turn that brake bias to the right, because clockwise is more rear brake, and if you're loose, it's going to be worse.
Stewart hanging out in 7th spot, trying to get 6th away from Ward Burton, which he will do with relative ease. And he just blew by Ward. Gordon back on pit road. What color do you think that car is, Benny?
I don't have any idea, but I'm really looking forward to seeing this car under the lights and seeing it change colors and what have you.
All right, come on, take a guess. What color is that car? There is a name for it.
Good there.
I have no idea.
Absolute Purpline Prism.
That would have been my second guess.
That would have been my second
That's
guess.
the official name for that color.
Blue would have been the first one.
Matt?
Well, I can't give you the name of the paint color, Alan, but if you wanted to paint your own car or your Harley, it's $1,500 a gallon. How about those numbers, huh?
No thanks.
You got a Harley?
Painting the tank and the fenders on my Harley with that stuff would cost more than the bike did.
Man.
So Gordon now 111 laps down and headed back out on track. Going to be a big hit in the points for him tonight. Good thing he had a big lead coming in.